Good evening, everybody. It's still light out. It's kind of cloudy. Got to say Kiddush Levana though. Baruch Hashem. Uh, I became aware, as I believe a lot of folks did, of a fellow who was scheduled to speak at CPAC named Young Pharaoh. And people are accusing him of anti-Semitism when I don't see how he's any different from any other religion that just believes in their own religion and believes that other religions are false. He says some things that are a little silly and he misquotes certain things, but he's a very intelligent person, I can see. And like I said, I became aware of him. I was interested. I want to hear what he has to say out of curiosity, especially after he got banned. And then not only he got banned from CPAC, but now he got banned from Twitter, because I actually sent him a note on Twitter that I would like to have a conversation with him. I'm not expecting $50,000 necessarily, because I don't believe in this idea of proving, I believe in I'm a fan of the apologetics of Judaism. I believe they are the most convincing apologetic arguments that any religion makes. And I believe Judaism to be the true religion. However, obviously, I'm not going to convince someone who believes something else. Recently, I heard a number of speakers express themselves by saying what you believe in is not a choice. And that's a really deep statement. I didn't realize how deep that is. Again, you can choose perhaps to... You can't really choose what you believe in. You can choose to change your behavior based on your beliefs. And you might have issues with your behavior that are not consistent with your own beliefs, and we all do, and that's what's called sin. And that's just part of being a human being. And we have to repent for that and so forth. But, I don't expect to convince this fellow that my religion is true when he believes in his own religion, I genuinely would like to have a conversation with him or with anybody else. I have what do they call it, Zoom or other things that we could record conversations, and anybody wants to have a conversation on any subject, I'm happy to do that, as well as this forum where you just put your comments in the comments section and I respond to them on video or sometimes in the comments. But I was quite upset. I can understand that perhaps CPAC doesn't want to have him because of their particular standards, because it's a particular program, but I don't really think he deserved to be canceled. But I understand that they're in a precarious place where they don't want to be labeled as something. When it comes to these more public forums like Twitter and Facebook and YouTube, I'm much more uncomfortable with the cancellation. And furthermore, to be honest, it doesn't do us any favors. This cancel culture creates martyrs. And it also goes against the basic free market that America is. One of the great things I believe about America is that it's a free market not only in the economic squadrons, but it's a free market spiritually. That's the power of religious freedom, of religious liberty, is that it brings, just like capitalism brings out the best in commerce because of the competition. And if you make a good product, people are gonna want it. as opposed to under communism and socialism, where everything is government run, and you're just government sponsored mediocrity. The same thing is true with this system of religious freedom versus establishmentarianism. And there's another word, I forgot what it's called. But in any event, meaning when you have an established religion, you're pretty much going to ensure corruption and mediocrity if the government runs the churches. They might be claiming, and I know certain folks claim that they're establishing authenticity. But I'm very uncomfortable with that. I prefer the American approach, where religious freedom creates a need for you to compete. If something's too big to fail, that's a problem. It's not an asset. I remember some of the more intelligent Satmar Hasidim, which all the Satmar Hasidim I know are highly intelligent, but I'm saying people who are not as emotionally driven but more intellectually driven, when the split came between the Hasidim of Rabarn and the Hasidim of Zalman Leib, they said this is the best thing for Satmar because it's going to be competition. When it was under the Berach Moshe, and there was only one Rebbe and one Moistus, I remember nobody wanted to send their kids to Satmar. If you had enough money, you sent your kids to Krasna, to Wien, to Spinka, to some smaller yeshiva where you're going to pay a higher tuition, but you're going to get more bang for your buck. Whereas now, we're talking 14 years already since the Berach Moshe went to Hayalma, went to Alma Dase, to Yad Welt. So Chus Yedeleinu, the Heilige Tzaddik, the Berach Moshe, I was able to see a number of times. I gave a clip to him once. It was now that you have competition, it makes everything has to be better than the next. Everyone's competing with the other. Nicer schools, nicer shuls, and it's a certain aspect of Kinasai from Machkin that the jealousy of scribes increases wisdom. And so too here, when you have a free market, people are going to decide on their own. If something's garbage, they're not gonna buy it. If you have corruption in religion, a lot of people are going to leave that church, that synagogue, that mosque, that temple, that tribe, whatever it is. But the other thing is, people are going to try new things that you never had anywhere else. And America has that quality that people have those opportunities to start new religions, to try different things, to try to resurrect old religions that since died because the government establishment pushed them down. And people just went with the flow, and I think that I don't blame this guy, Young Pharaoh, for his whatever he says. Now, I certain things he says crazy, or certain things, but that's not a reason to be banned from a platform. He's not encouraging violence. That's that's the number one thing. But they're making everything into violence. They're making, if you question the election, that's encouraging violence. If you this, and that's not true. So I want to talk about something else. Yesterday I saw an interview that Steven Crowder did with Alex Jones, about an hour and a half long. The first half hour is on YouTube, and the entire show you can watch on the Blaze TV if you're a subscriber, which I am. And this was a very eye-opening thing, because you saw Alex Jones in a light that you never see it on his shows, and now you can't even watch his shows on YouTube. So it's really quite an impressive thing. And to see his humility, to see his remorse, his regrets, which nobody even knows about because he's been deplatformed, he's been canceled. He specifically talks about the Capitol riots, and he's very frank and honest about what happened and his regrets about it, and how he wished he had never even been there. He wasn't there at the riots, he wasn't a rioter, but how it turned into a riot when he was just planning a peaceful protest, and he went up there, tried to stop it, and also how disgusted he is by the left for kind of cheering on his more extreme fans who are disappointed in him for not encouraging violence. And that comes down to what is really going on here. The left is responsible far more than Donald Trump or Alex Jones or Young Pharaoh or anybody else is responsible for the outbreaks of violence that we've been saying. Because they're taking advantage of the way that Alex Jones put it. They're taking advantage of people who are crazy, who are mentally ill, and turning it into something that shouldn't be. So I am quite upset that Young Pharaoh has been deplatformed from Twitter. I don't know about his YouTube channel. I was in the middle of watching an interview he did with a rabbi who appears to be a genuine Orthodox rabbi, and it's something to discuss. So I'm not quite sure what to do with this. So, but I am disappointed. I'm also disappointed that Louis Farrakhan was deplatformed, particularly because I need it for work. I do use his material for work, and now that I'm unable to, that's also something. So thank you for watching. God bless. Please like, share, and subscribe, comment, and we'll see you later. I'm not saying I agree with Young Pharaoh or Louis Farrakhan or even Alex Jones. I'm just saying we need to know what everybody's saying. We need to have that free market, that open dialogue. And I think we have to learn to respect each other even when we disagree. And from what I saw, it was a 3-hour interview. I saw maybe 10 minutes with this rabbi. He didn't say his name, and this guy who calls himself Young Pharaoh. And I don't get it. Like he was being respectful. He's talking about how important it is to be respectful to those they disagree with and so forth. So this is not the way things are supposed to be. We're not supposed to be, this cancel culture, it's gone too far. Thank you for watching. God bless. Please like, share, and subscribe, comment, and we'll see you later.